Hi there, YouTube. I wanted to do something. It might take a little bit, but we'll see. So PoE is very complex. The one thing that I really wanted to focus on with this video is what the currency does. There's so many different types of currency, especially some that I've never even gotten. So I wanted to go through, explain what each and every single one of them do to get more like a visual. Now, I will not be using a divine orb because I mainly use these for different crafts. This video is not focused on the crafting. The scroll of wisdom. This right here, it identifies an item. So if you can see right here, there are some items that drop that say unidentified. You take one of these and it identifies the item. Allows you to see what it is that it has or what the specs are, etc. Okay, the next one is called the portal scroll. It creates a portal, you right click it, takes you back to where you were originally. The next one is the enkindling orb. It adds an enchantment to a utility flask that will improve it, but prevent it from gaining charges during its effect. Places any existing enchantment. So you take one of these, you put it on whatever flask that you have. It does not work on a life flask. But as you can see, it says plus 55 to maximum charges. Gains no charges during effect. You use it, it then changes the way the flask is with the different modifier after you've used it. Okay, instilling orb. This one is kind of like this one right here, but it adds a different kind of enchantment. So if you click on it, it changes it to where it can be automated. Okay, the blacksmith's whetstone. It improves the quality of a weapon. So if you take it, and the way that I am grabbing each and every single one of these, I am using a right click on a mouse to where I can like hold it in place. And you can click it on a weapon and it gives quality, so that's +1. The armor scrap. It improves the quality of an armor. Kind of the same thing as the weapon, but this time for armor. So if you right click and bring it over to any kind of gear that you want, click it and it gives it quality. Okay, next one is glass blower's bauble. It improves the quality of a flask. Click on it, it gives it an additional quality. The gem cutter's prism. It improves the quality of a gem. Sometimes you get gems that drop, and these are very useful. So you right click, take it over to a gem, and it gives it quality. The cartographer's chisel. This improves the quality of a map. So in this case, I have brought a tier 1, right click, and it gives the item quality and the quality itself an additional quality. So control shift, right click, it allows you to keep holding this while you're adding more on. So as you can see, I'm left clicking and it's adding more while also keeping this in place. If I let go of control shift, it takes it off the pointer, puts it back in there. The orb of transmutation. Now something cool about these, and I'm going to be doing this by control click, which will bring a whole stack over to my inventory. If you go over to a vendor and you click sell item to get this little window, shift a control left click will put it into the vendor so you can sell it, and it gives you scrolls of wisdom that allows you to identify different items. Putting these back into your little stash tab easier, you just control and then click on each and every single one. But to do that, you also need to have the affinities on, and the affinity allows whatever thing that you're clicking to go into the corresponding tab. But orb of transmutation, right click, this turns any normal item into a magic item. So this will turn blue, gives different modifiers. The orb of alteration, right click, this gives a magic item and gives it new modifiers. So these two modifiers right here, when I left click, it changes it. And I was hoping that it would do this because with orb of augmentation, this allows you to add additional stuff to the specific item. Orb of annulment. And I kind of, this is where the gambling for the currencies come in. But for the video, I'm willing to do it. So as you can see, each item can have up to 3 different prefixes and 3 different suffixes. Right now, this only has 3 prefixes and 1 suffix. This removes a random modifier from an item. Right click, left click. I don't remember what it was that I had before, but now there is 2 prefixes and 1 suffix. The Regal Orb. I don't have very many of these, but I'm willing to use one for this. So this map right here is a magic item. It's blue. This upgrades a magic item into a rare item. So it takes it from blue and it turns it yellow, which is the rare. So if you right click and left click, it changes the color and also adds additional. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit out of order. I know that I've been doing it like row by row, but in order to make this a little bit easier, I'm gonna use an Orb of Scoring. This removes everything from whatever item that you have. So right click, and everything that I have on here, left click, it takes it all away and it takes it back to a normal item. With the Orb of Alchemy, it takes any item and changes it into a rare item. Right click to keep item on your pointer, left click. Chaos Orb. It reforges a rare item with new modifiers. All these different modifiers right here, if I left click, they will all change. Transmutation Shards. If you get a stack of 20, it turns into an Orb of Transmutation. For an Alteration Shard, same thing. If you get 20 of them, it turns into an Orb of Alteration. For an Annulment Shard, stack of 20 goes into one of these. The Regal Shard. You get 20 of these, and you get a Regal Orb. Alchemy Shard. You get 20 of these, it gives you an Orb of Alchemy. The Chaos Shard. You get 20 of these, gives you a Chaos Orb. The Divine Orb. Now this, I don't get them very often at all. I mainly use them for the crafting. Now, what I will showcase right here, and when it comes to the crafting bench, once you get to the end of Act 2, you get access to your hideout. It doesn't unlock for new players automatically, but once you do get it, you have access to the crafting bench. Now, something that I use the Divine Orbs for. For example, the suffixes cannot be changed. So when you get into the later parts and you're experimenting with the crafting, you see how this costs 2 of the Divine Orbs? Let's say I liked these suffixes and I didn't want them to be changed at all. I could hit suffixes cannot be changed. I'm not going to because I'm saving up for something else. But you click on that and you can click craft and it would keep those even if you were to use that Orb of Scoring that we went over a little bit earlier to put on some other stuff. The Jeweler's Orb. This reforges the number of sockets on an item. So if you right click and left click, I used to have 3, now it took it down to 2. The Orb of Fusing. Now I did just go back and try to get another socket to do this, but this reforges the links between an item or between the sockets. So as you can see, this has a red and a green socket with a missing link on here. This is technically considered a 2 link because there's 2 sockets linked. When it comes to a 3 link, all 3 are linked. But you left click and thank goodness it actually gave me that. The Chromatic Orb. These things drop quite often from what I've seen. It reforges the color of a socket on an item. So if you right click and left click, it changes the colors. Okay, the Harbinger's Orb. This reforges a map item as another of a higher tier. So right now I have a Crimson Township that is a map tier 2. If I left click, it'll turn it into something else and give it a higher tier. The Orb of Horizons. This reforges a map item as another of the same tier. The Orb of Binding. This upgrades a normal item to a rare item with up to 4 link sockets. So everything that I had on these boots earlier, I used the Orb of Scoring to remove it so I can actually show this. In the early game, you don't want to use these too much unless you are in dire situations, but it makes it a rare and it gives it 4 different links. The Engineer's Orb, when you're going through the campaign, there are going to be strong boxes. I can't show it at the moment because I don't feel like going over there, but it improves the quality. I believe these are the most useless currency in the game because I've never used them whatsoever. The Orb of Regret. In the passive skill tree, it is very overwhelming. I'm not going to open it because this video is towards somebody wanting to try the game for the first time or playing the game a little bit and so confused on what the currency does. But this orb is very helpful when it comes to wanting to take some points out that you may have fucked your build up with. Take those out and put it into something else. The Harbinger's Shard. You collect 20 of these and it makes a Harbinger's Orb. The Horizon Shard. Take 20 of these and it gives you an Orb of Horizon. The Ancient Shard. You get 20 of these to get an Ancient Orb. Now, I don't have an Ancient Orb, but what the Ancient Orb does, for example, now I believe it works on any kind of unique item. But let's say, for example, this unique ring. You use the Ancient Orb on the unique ring, and it will change it into something completely different. I know some people use it on unique belts because it might give you a very high tier item, or it might give you something that you just want to enter and then log out. The Binding Shard. You get 20 of these to make an orb a binding. The Engineer Shard. You get 20 of these for an Engineer's Orb, which is still the most useless and pointless thing. Sacred Orb. Randomizes the numeric values of base defenses on an armor. Take this, click that, and it changes the evasion rating. So the Blessed Orb. This randomizes the values of the implicit modifiers of an item. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to hover over this. So underneath where it says requires level 54, there is plus 28 to maximum life, and that's in the middle of 2 golden bars. That's what you would call an implicit. Some items in this game drop items with implicits, and some don't. Like for example, this one just has requires level 44, 79 dex. This one has the implicit of giving you additional life. What this orb does, it randomizes the number next to whatever that implicit is. So from plus 28 to plus 33. The Val Orb. Now this can be fun, or it can be absolutely just logging out, uninstalling. This corrupts an item, modifying it unpredictably. Now, this can be very dangerous, or it can be very, very, very rewarding. So all these stats that you see here, plus 68 to max life, plus 30 to cold resistance, plus 27 to lightning resistance, 16% increased stun and block recovery. Right here, this can either make this item unusable, or it can make it god tier. It's very random. It can even break every single link, or keep it the same. Now I'm gonna click it, and in this case it didn't change much, but it made it corrupted and it gave me a white socket. What this white socket does, as you can see, there are some items that have specific socket colors for specific gems, but there are some items that I have that you can put any gem color into it. What this does, you can put whatever gem color into the item, making it a little bit easier to use. There's a few additional pieces of different currencies that drop, but those aren't important until the later parts of the game, and this is more catered towards people that have less than 200 hours in the game and are so confused by the number of currency in the game. Now, I'm still learning as I go, but I wanted to try to simplify it down as much as I could from what I've learned to make it easier to understand for somebody else. I hope I did a decent job at explaining all this. I know I may have missed a few things. The easier I can make the game feel to somebody else that doesn't have as much time to learn as I do, that is my goal. So I'm hoping this helped. If it did at all, I'm glad. But yeah, other than that, that is about all. If this helped you out in any way, shape, or form, go ahead and leave a like, go ahead and subscribe. The only thing that I ask is don't do that if I haven't earned it. I want to earn that from you. I hope you try the game. I hope you enjoy the game. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.